What is up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I am back with an all new review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Yes, I'm late, but let's get into it. So, we are back with Melody asking Kiki, has there been any truth to this Crime Stopper situation? Because she spoke with Tiffany, and Tiffany don't want to associate with anybody that could affect her brand that's accused of theft. And that's when Kiki asks, accused or convicted? Accused. In the confessional, Kiki looked absolutely gorgeous in her outfit and her hair and her makeup, but she thought that her and Tiffany squashed their beef and thought they were moving forward, but she's not surprised that Tiffany assumed the absolute worst about her. And it sucks though, Kiki, because that's how it was presented. The way you came on the show was so negative, and nobody took a chance to really get to know you. So that's all they can go off of. But she said, once I'm vindicated in court, all the haters who doubted me will have to bow down and make up for it. And I would love for you to receive that, Kiki. I really would. But the way production has made you look, the way that everybody has said stuff about you, is going to be very hard to win an apology from these folks. You just might as well accept that you're going to be vindicated and let them say what they want to say. Um, so she talks about having lawyers put in place so she can't discuss anything about the situation at all. She's not worried about it. She wasn't worried about it because she knows all the details. So Melody still asked her, so it was you in the video. She said, I cannot confirm nor deny. And it's a play on words, it's a build-up. So when it all plays out, it'll make sense. So I'm not mad at Kiki for, not saying things, but saying things, just keeping the suspense going. I ain't mad, really. So Kiki was baffled by people who would assume, the worst and go to relapse. Oh my God, she's back on that stuff. She gets it. She really gets it on how it can look. But she has not relapsed at all. She feels good. And Melody said, okay, I'm just letting you know you want support. You have it from me if you need it. And she appreciated that from Melody. And Melody was the first person to call her about it. Tisha was the last one to call her about it out of everybody. And Melody was neutral in this situation. She said, well, you guys are getting back on the same page. You guys are rebuilding. So I don't think you should have expected for her to be this super concerned cousin to be there for you. And it was, this moment could have been easy for Mel to talk shit about Tisha, how Tisha don't be there for nobody, but she expects for everybody to be there for her. She has a one-sided way of showing loyalty. She could have did that, but Melody is not putting her feelings in this. She's staying out of it. She really has no thoughts about it whatsoever, you know. And Kiki understood what Melody was telling her, and Kiki also said, it makes sense because I have to stop expecting me out of everybody. If you're gonna show up for somebody, you would, but you can't expect for them to do the same for you. And Melody had to remind her, okay, well, if you expected for her to come and reach out to you, have you done the same thing to her? Because Tisha had a lot going on with her husband and her mom, and that splattered all over social media. Did you check in on her about how she was feeling? And Kiki said, to be honest, no. I don't have any way, shape, or form feeling comfortable having any kind of conversation with her about her husband at all. So you never reached out to her when she was going through that. Kiki said no. So boom. There it is. She didn't reach out to you because of what has happened. You didn't reach out to her because of what has happened. You guys are both doing the same thing to each other. You guys are both starting over. So you can't expect one to be there for you if you haven't been there for her. You know what I'm saying? You guys got to take time. And understanding where Tisha is coming from, she gave Tisha a lot of grace of understanding why she wouldn't be so keen to reach out to her. And I enjoyed that about Melody. I enjoyed where she's staying in the situation. And all she wants to do is broker peace. Even if she's trying to broker peace with someone who called her a dark soul. And that's going to always stick because Tisha, you're never going to live that down of calling Melody a dark soul, but you expect so much out of Melody to be there for you, but you still haven't been accountable for the things you've done. And she gave you enough grace of understanding why you wouldn't be so gung-ho of checking in on Kiki. So that's fine. Then she tells her about Tiffany's baby reveal and that Tiffany was going to invite her. And maybe you should come. It will be fun and be on your guard. In this group, all these ladies got a lot of questions to ask. No matter if they're fond of you or not fond of you, they're going to want to know what's going on. Kiki says she's ready for the answers. I mean, she's ready for the questions because she got answers. All right, cool. We're gonna see next episode. Tisha. Ooh, let me let me calm down because this was such a cringy, unnecessary scene, and I'm tired. So Tisha stops by the home that they're renovating, right? It started off as a small project, then it became an entire makeover. To be honest though, Tisha, I'm doubting that you are ever going to have your dream home because I feel like the renovation for this temporary home will be your main home. I'm just saying. Because this is all he gonna put the money towards, to be honest. Um, because it's still backwards to me. I'm not saying you can't have multiple properties and you can't, switch up with changing little things here and there. You know what I'm saying, for vacation homes, but it's still backwards to renovate a temporary home if you're supposed to be putting all that money into your dream home. So you will live in the temporary home for the time being to make sure the money is good for everything that you want in the dream home so you don't ever have to keep on moving. But it's just the relocation for the apartment to the renovation. Where is Scott Manor? It's just all over the place. It really is. So we get to the lawsuit that we are finally talking about because he had a deposition. He wanted to correct her and say it wasn't court, it was a deposition. But you had to appear in the courtroom for the deposition. Stop doing that. And why don't Tisha know? Do you keep, you know what? I already answered my own question because you do keep things from Tisha. Never mind. He said it went well, and when you are in construction, you can get a counterclaim to sue. So you're entitled to sue, and they're going to take it to trial. From what I have listened and learned about this deposition, you were a fool to try to sue. That's all I'm gonna say. So we're not gonna dive any deeper into this lawsuit because he wanted to get rid of that. And Tisha asked him, "What is the furniture budget?" So he gets annoyed. He gets stressed out. Oh my gosh, she asked me about money. Well, you need new furniture. Where your kids gonna sleep on once they come back to this house that's gonna be renovated. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, "What we need? Everything." Like, I'm confused. Like, did you guys move in the apartment with old furniture and you want new furniture and now you got new stuff, you got new appliances, new countertops, new floors? I would want new everything too. So I'm confused as well. And Marcel, you're always bragging about how much money you make because I'm gonna go back to a couple of seasons before where you told Courtney you and Tisha made 17 million. So why are you acting so tightly wounded of hearing a furniture budget? If you got money like that, it shouldn't be a problem to give her a number that she can work with. I'm confused. So then he talks about, can we just rent to own? Rent to own. You sure you guys got money like that? Because why are you resorting to rent to own? Rent to own is for people who can't afford it right out front. I am in the middle of, I can afford furniture right out the gate, but I can also get finance so that I don't have to come out of pocket to pay for anything and I can pay later because that's where my income starts at. You know what I'm saying? What is your income? And you saying rent to own? What? Go to Moore's, live in spaces? That's all you can afford? I'm confused. Like, I'm really confused. And I feel like Marsau doesn't think about what goes into buying stuff for the house. Like, he thinks the house is supposed to come with everything. No. You need stuff. You need tables. You need beds. You need you need stuff. I'm confused. Then he said, how about we just go to China? I said, China? I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Like, either you have a fucked up credit where you can't get financed, because this is something I'm not understanding. I'm really not. So she told him, we would have more money if you did not spend it on your car, which was a jab because he wrapped his car in a gaudy yellow color, I think. And how much did he spend? $3,500. So she's looking at where he spends his money on that's not going towards what it needs to go towards, which is the home, which is the kids. So then he said, but you get more than me. And why is it every time I spend money on myself, I get told I'm not doing this. I'm not doing right for the family. It doesn't do this. I'm never doing anything right. I said, Marcel, you could miss me with a pity party. You really can. Because she's telling you spend more money on big ticket stuff than what's important. Because let's look at the situation right now, Marcel. You're renovating a home that's supposed to be temporary while your other family is living in a 3-bedroom apartment. But this was supposed to be them moving into their dream home, not them moving from house to house to house because you don't want to pay for a dream home, but yet it's still not stable. Like that's the thing that's getting to me. You know what I'm saying? And then we got the allowance that they have. She gets 5, and I think out of his 35, he does what he wants to do, but obviously it's still not enough because the way y'all priorities are, you're not focusing on what the bigger picture is. So, with you trying to make her feel bad that she's even asking you about a budget for furniture, you turn around and make it seem as if everything that I do, I don't get credit, I don't get appreciated, and da 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 da. I'm just like, welcome to being a husband, Marceau. Welcome to being a father, where you got a lot of responsibilities to make sure your family is good. So, the things you want are going to be last. You got to do what you got to do for your family, okay? Like, this is all coming from asking about a furniture budget. How did we get for you feeling like you don't get appreciated for everything that you do from a furniture budget? Like, she's stuttering because he's making her feel so bad that she didn't have to ask him. But I feel like, why should this be something hard to ask you? And then to say, you want to call me selfish? You are selfish, Marcel. You are selfish. Because the amount that you will spend for yourself, you wouldn't do for your kids. You wouldn't do for your wife. If that's the case, your wife shouldn't even be asking you about a furniture budget. She would just be buying because you want to make her happy. She will be looking for ways of how to fill out her home with her kids' stuff, how to fill out buying beds, buying tables, buying matching dishes. But no, she got to skip toe around to asking you what she can buy. Like, I really can't. I really can't. So then he wanted to ask her about her purse. I'm like, first of all, I wouldn't even tell you how much my purse was. And why are we going towards material things? Let's look at what you need. You need beds. You need tables. Your kids need dressers. Like, your kids are growing. Do you not see that? Like, I'm lost. And this is a pattern that Marceau has every single time he gets called out on what he's not being consistent on. He makes her feel bad for questioning him. All she did was asking him about a furniture budget. But you don't want to give her an answer. You want to go around the bush and make her feel bad about asking you a simple question. You make it about how you're accused of being selfish. You are being selfish. Last time I checked, you got a vasectomy and didn't tell her about it. You took a trip to Africa when it was supposed to be a family trip. You went by yourself. You didn't want your family to go. You are selfish. Like, are you kidding me? You do plenty of things for yourself that you don't include Tisha on. Like, I swear. And then he said it was offensive. How was it offensive? What is offensive to you? Asking about a furniture budget or noticing that you spend more money on yourself than you do for your own family? Well, I'm lost. So lost, okay? And why are you working by yourself? Is your workers off today? Like, are you saving money by having you work? I don't Nothing makes sense, I swear. This was so annoying to me. Why do we have to deal with these unnecessary scenes from these people? Like, she tried to have a simple conversation and turns around of her feeling bad about asking them. Then you want to make her feel bad about, apologizing to you. You want her you want to force her into giving you an apology. Then it all stemmed off of her wanting to ask another vehicle. He said, okay, fine. What the hell? Why are y'all concerned about having another vehicle? Hello, you guys are living in a 3-bedroom apartment right now. He's renovating this temporary home. I don't think y'all should spend money on another vehicle right now. Y'all priorities are out of whack at this point. Like, what are y'all doing? Why do we have to go through all this song and dance with these two? It don't make no sense. Oh my God. You want to say yes to a vehicle, but you want to give her a hard time about the furniture. What's your kids gonna sleep on the ground? Like, let me. I'm gonna move on. I can't. Tiffany. Tiffany is meeting up with Stormy because she wants to help her plan a baby reveal for baby Ace. And the last time that she saw Stormy was at dinner with Tisha and Kimmy when they had questions about the expo. So the event space she picked out was beautiful. It was very nice and it was so homey, so inviting where you didn't have to do too much, but she still chose to hire a decorator. They're going to have breakfast for dinner, chicken and waffles. I love chicken and waffles and I also enjoy breakfast for dinner. So who's going to come? A few friends, few family members. She mentioned the group. Is Tisha coming? She did invite her, but she didn't RSVP. Wonder if it's going to be cool. Are you and her going to be cool? Well, yeah. You know what I'm saying? We didn't, do too much. Well, Tiffany said y'all were raw. She said we were raw, y'all were raw. Only because, it was a lot that happened at the expo. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I don't even have a problem with Tisha. It's her husband I got a problem with because I can't do him. I can't deal with dudes that act like Mitches. And he was definitely a Mitch at the expo. And that's the one thing she don't like about Marsau. He acts like he's the smartest man in the room, but he's the dumbest. And he comes off as a condescending asshole, which I agree. I'm noticing Tiffany in this conversation. Tiffany looks tired. She looks extremely tired. Her makeup, I can see she got bags under her eyes of not getting enough sleep. So going off on the invitation list, Kiki's name was brought up, and it shocked Stormy because Tiffany was surprised that Stormy was even shocked. Why are you surprised? Girl, because the last times I've seen you and Kiki in the same room, it's been an argument. And I was like, Tiffany, do you have baby brain? Did you forget? Because you used your whole entire reason of not trying to get to know Kiki is because of the way Tisha has felt being treated by Kiki. So you did not want anything to do with her, which I'm not mad at though, Tiffany, but you was annoying me of how much judgment you was giving to Kiki without you figuring out how to get to know her for yourself. You used someone else's perception of her and ran with it, which I didn't like. So the fact that you had this perception of her, you now want to give a whole new, you want to see her in a whole new light because Melly told you to give her another chance and you want this opportunity around your baby. I was like, girl, I swear to God, I feel like Tiffany, you're such a sweet person. You really, really are. But the way you shaded Kiki about coming, making sure she don't steal any locks is not sitting with me. It's really not. And production is putting a huge battery in your back for you to throw a dig at Kiki. I swear, Tiffany, I'll follow you. You seem such a cool person outside the show. But in this show, you just come off someone unlikable. And I don't like it. At times it's needed and at times it's not. But of course, who's gonna be the messy one on the show? Who's gonna be the pastor? Who's gonna bring the drama that we need? Tiffany is. So I just can't. But I'm back and forth. I tell y'all. So Stormy is trying to have a different look of Kiki, like she could be going through a lot. And Tiffany said, I don't know you enough for you to think you're going through something because I'm seeing it on the news. Crime Stoppers, a mom used her child to steal, which news can be colorful. News can over exaggerate. You know what I'm saying? And the way that they can put so much emphasis on a situation is not as serious as once you get throughout the entire story. And she is looking at the circumstances, which a lot of people do. They look at the circumstances of how they've came off, and there's nothing else I should get to know about her. Like, do I even see a different side of her? Do I get to know her? And I'm not mad at Tiffany being honest about it, but it just comes across so judgmental. Man, I can't. But you're doing your job, okay? So I can't really, I can't say nothing about it. But she does want this event to be peaceful. It's about meeting the baby. And when you meet babies, it's supposed to be a nice, peaceful event, okay? So Stormy asked Tiffany, how have you actually been? She's going through the motions. Like she feels like she's there, but not there, and her mind's all over the place. Tiffany already had a tight, overworked schedule. You know what I'm saying? She's overloaded with work automatically, answering if things need to get done. Then she got the role of being a mom. She got her 16-year-old and her 15-year-old. One's doing car shopping. The other one needs something for sports because they both in school activities and it's the end of the school year. They always need something. Then you got baby. Baby needs mom every minute of the day to be fed, to be changed, to have cuddle time. So she's all over the place. Then she got wife. Lou, does he need something? Does need to remember he has a dentist appointment, but he's over the road. So he has not been here this entire time helping her throughout all of this. He's been coaching at A&M. So she is doing all this by herself, but this is what she's always been doing already with her overloaded schedule. I mean, just like the first part of the season, she was 8 months pregnant and she wanted to fly to Washington to speak, but she wasn't thinking about her pregnancy. You were at the last mile of your pregnancy. You should not be traveling anywhere. And Lou told you, we already got a hectic schedule as it is. We can't even have time for us to spend time together. And you think we have time for a baby? He told her. I swear to God, Lou told you you're not going to be able to handle all of this once we have a baby. She was so confident and said she got it, she got it, she got it, but she don't. She don't. Even though she said this is what she wanted. She thought she can handle being available to everybody, being able to go to work while being a mom, being a brand new mom, be a wife. She thought she could handle all of it, but she can't. This is what everybody was telling her before. The baby's gonna change the way you move. Lewis told her that. That baby's gonna be in charge of how you move, and he's in charge of how you're moving. And I'm having a hard time. I feel very sorry for Tiffany. This is a lot on her, but this is what Lou told you in the beginning. And you knew this. You thought you could be able to be super mom and handle it, but you can't. You can't. And Tiffany strikes me as a person who likes to be busy. She doesn't like to be still. She wants to be all over, but she's going to have to find a way to balance all that and be still. And, just seeing how she just had a baby and she's jumping into planning a reveal, she's overwhelmed. She got her family testing her, wondering when they going to see the baby. That's annoying. I know that's annoying. It's just like, I just gave birth. The baby's brand new. Y'all gonna have to give me time. So she wanted to please everybody by having this event so they can all get off her back about wanting to see the baby. And Stormy is, recognizing that you are dealing with a lot right now. I wanted to know how you are. Do you feel like you're depressed? She says she breaks down a lot. She cries. And Stormy can relate to her because when she had her son, it was a hard time her adjusting back into the real world too. And she said it's okay to not be okay. And I know Tiffany is struggling. I can see her struggling. And it's okay. It really is. And I can understand that because I'm dealing with that right now. I dealt with that having my son. I was postpartum. I was depressed. And I was wondering if I'm able to break out of it. I really didn't have any time for myself. Then when I finally got to the hang of it, I was feeling good. Then I had my daughter. It was the same thing of not being able to juggle it all, not punish myself for not being able to juggle it all. But it's okay if there are things that I don't have it all together, I don't have it handled. It's completely okay. And I want Tiffany to know that she's not alone in how she's feeling. She really isn't, you know. So moving on from that, Chris and Nell. Uh, Tisha and Marsau have a double date with the Fletchers. And they said it's supposed to be for them getting to know the Fletchers, but I thought they already knew the Fletchers. But the main reason why they're having this dinner is because Nell and Chris want an explanation as to why they weren't invited to the expo. They have over 29 years of business experience, and they were the original power couple in Huntsville. So they get right into it. Why didn't receive an invite? Marsau looked dumb and said, "Y'all didn't feel invited?" No, we didn't feel invited. If we knew we were invited, we would have felt included. We didn't feel included. Nell remembers that Tisha was going to send them a personal invitation to the expo at Melody's daughter's birthday, and it never happened. So then Marsau starts to stutter because he wants to say, "To be honest, I don't know what you guys did." But Chris is looking at him like, "You knew I was a real estate broker, right? So why are you looking surprised?" I knew that, but I didn't think of y'all. I'm sorry. I didn't think of y'all. I didn't think of y'all. I feel like you didn't think of them because you knew that the Fletchers had more than what you didn't bring. You knew they would deliver, then you couldn't deliver. That's why. So what did you think they actually did? He said, "I knew that Fletcher was in real estate and Nell was just his pretty wife." I need a frying pan to knock some sense into this bald-headed goblin. The fuck, this condescending ass prick. How dare you insult somebody that could be influential to you? And you want to talk down on the fact that his wife is just a pretty wife? I swear to God, Marsau has a backwards, caveman, condescending, misogynistic mindset about how women are just supposed to be seen and not heard. And it's annoying the hell out of me. It really is. And Nell was like, "I'm getting tired of him and his comments. I am more than just Chris's pretty wife. I'm a very successful businesswoman. I'm a successful businesswoman at that. In 29 years, they can catch up to us. But when they reach us, they can reach our level, okay?" And Tisha knew what Nell, she said she has a whole daycare. Oh, a whole daycare. How long you had this daycare? 29 years. That's a successful lane to be in, okay? He said he don't remember. Chris told him. You told me? I did tell you. What did you say? I said, you know, my wife got a daycare business. Growing Smiles. When we had that conversation, when we had a conversation about business, I told you that. I don't think he recognizes certain lanes of business as successful because Marsau don't look at women successful. He looks at women as made mattress mules. Shout out to Erica De Niro. He looks at them as barefoot and pregnant, be seen and not heard, be a pretty trophy on your shoulder. And Marceau don't have a clue in what successful business looks like because I think Marceau has a warped perception of what business looks like. He looks as business if you drive a fancy car, if you wear a suit, if you talk like you have a lot of business sense, if you talk like you have a lot going on, if you talk like an entrepreneur. But he doesn't actually know what goes into being successful in business. He doesn't look at the work. He looks at what it looks like, which is backwards. So then he pulls this out of his ass about how he didn't think to invite them because they were still friends with Melody and Martell. And he didn't think about crossing lines or stepping on their toes to do any kind of relationship with them. But I'm just kind of like, what? That's bullshit. And I'm with Nell. It's about Melody because you guys are still in good standings with Martell. And you've been around Chris for a while, Marceau. And let's not forget, Marceau, you wanted to use Chris as your alibi for last season of that alleged back picture that was supposedly be of you. And you told everybody you was with Chris in New York. And Chris said, I did see him early, but I haven't seen him since that morning. You wanted Chris to be your alibi, and he said, I'm not gonna lie for you because I never saw you. So it makes me wonder why you did not include them in the expo, because then you wanted to also not avoid, you want to avoid that picture being brought back up by how you were allegedly in a hotel room with another woman. That infamous back picture of yours. So you can miss me with that. You really can. So regarding the expo, it was supposed to be about the core six getting back together, but only one person didn't want to be back, and that was Melody, because she said no. Still a work in progress. As who did speak? Martell didn't speak. Actually, Martell didn't have anything at all. He was just there because you knew what he would bring. And he almost backed out because he didn't want to speak because he wanted Melody to be there. And when it came down to not having Melody speak, you asked her, Marceau, at the event if she can speak, if she come up on stage and speak. And she said, no, I'm here for support. So hearing that he didn't want to pay nobody, that's the truth. You presented it as to give back to the community, to give their knowledge on how to handle business, and you didn't want to pay nobody. But you couldn't figure out how to get people to do it for free because you say if this was supposed to be a philanthropic endeavor, then it should have been that. But that's not how you presented it, though. You presented it as people were being greedy of wanting to get paid if that's what they are designed to do. If I get included at a speaking event, I get paid. But then you also was unprofessional when you wanted your money back for asking people $100 for a booth fee, which wasn't mentioned at all. So this is the thing. If you wanted people to give back, you should present it as a give back because you said y'all paid, but obviously it was more than what you could afford. So you want your money back. And that's something you should have thought about from the beginning. People can do stuff for free if it's for giving back to charity. They can. They absolutely they can void their fee for giving back. They can. But the way you present it, it wasn't presented like that. It was backhanded, it was sneaky, which is why Mel didn't want to be a part of it. So then he made a comment about I'm paying for an event and I gotta pay for you to speak. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, it didn't make any sense as to why he would feel so confused about paying people to speak if I'm paying for the event. That's what people do. And if you did not want to pay out of pocket, that's why Melly said you have sponsorships. If you can't pay out of pocket, then they help pay for the parts you can't pay. So now talking out the side of his ass again about I'm not going to pay you because you deserve to get paid if I don't believe you deserve to get paid because I need to see a successful business. I need for you to show me a successful business. Give me a solid business. A solid business from who? Martell don't have a solid business, but you gave him a seat. I don't even trust Maurice and his credit union. Then throwing subliminal jabs to Melody about give me a solid business, show me expertise, because I'm not going to pay you to talk about your t-shirt business. Talk about what? Because to say you're just now starting out, You're in the exact same position as these people we're teaching. Sir, are you trying to devalue that Melody is just now starting a business when you know that's not true? And t-shirt business. I know you don't think that all Melody does is sell t-shirts. You know why Melody had to start over, right? She dissolved the Holton Hope business with Martell because the marriage was done and she didn't want to be connected with him in any other way besides parenting. That's why she started over. And it didn't take her long to bounce back. And yes, her push through, God said go shirt, it's selling. Selling. And let's also forget, she has property preservation classes that sells too. She has her 7th Avenue skincare that sells too. She has a styling line that sells too. She also sings that sells too. Don't she have a book that sells too? Okay? Like, it's so funny how you want to bite the hand that fed you all this time. And you want those subliminals out there that all she'll talk about is her t-shirt business? Don't you sell t-shirts too? And oh, I can't. Like you, like for real. If it wasn't for Melody, you wouldn't be near as successful as you try to be. And Melody is way more successful than you are. Like you really are trying to throw out there that Melody is not as successful as you are when she's had a longer business than you. Oh wow. If it wasn't for Melody preaching and pitching for this type of show, Carlos would have never picked it up because it was Melody's dream to have a show about this, not yours. Then, of course, he also has a production company. Are you kidding me right now? So, hearing him shade particularly Mel, but I feel like why don't you put Martell in there? Because Martell's the one that's struggling. He don't have a completed suit line. He don't have a completed drink. He don't have a completed nothing. He's supposed to have a nutrition book. He's supposed to have a suit collection. He only has a book available. I'm lost. But you don't want to connect him to how he's just starting over. You want to only shade Melody. Okay. So Chris was like, you're not going to shade the host now. The hosts were an enterprise. They were very professional. Even you were a part of it. Exactly. You were struggling at a movie theater with 3 kids and a wife that you couldn't provide for. So you can miss me. They taught you how to properly preserve. They taught you how to be in construction. But you don't want to admit that. Okay. 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 Got it, got it, got it. I don't know what your hatred is towards Melody, but I feel like you're going to have to miss me with that. You really are going to look down upon her because she sells t-shirts. T-shirt that she's fucking selling and that she's promoting every single chance she gets. And she's making her money. Like, ooh, I cannot. So then, moving on to how he was such a fucking asshole about how, I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm glad that we can move forward. And if you guys can let us know where we messed up on, we can get it cleared. Um, what else happened? Oh, right. Tisha is just seeing how connected that Nell and Chris are. And then she asked them, have there been any infidelity in their marriage? Without any hesitation, they said, of course. But it's so reminiscent from the first season when Melody and Martell had their anniversary party and Tisha asked them about infidelity. It's just so reminiscent to me. Like, why the fuck is this your question every single time? Tisha, just come out and admit that you think Marcel's cheating on you. You just can't find proof. Just come out and say it. Just admit it, please. Because for you to come out and ask them how they've had infidelity, which I feel like you knew already, because we knew about it when Melody and Martell was trying to get advice from Nell and Chris about how to move forward in their marriage. You knew that. But now all of a sudden you want to ask? Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like, girl, you just want to know. You just don't know how to ask. Just come out and admit it. It's okay. Allegedly, I do believe that Marsau has been cheating on Tisha, and the woman that he has allegedly been cheating on her with, she knows how to be quiet. She knows how to stay in her lane and not ruffle any feathers, and he wants to keep it that way because he wants to shut it down so fucking fast about how that's offensive. That's offensive. But what you just said about Melody wasn't as offensive though. Quickly, Nell said it wasn't a jab. She didn't feel like it was a jab. She was okay with it because of what they dealt with. They're not shying away from what they've dealt with. But man, so in the confessional, they were like, I feel 2 ways. I wonder if it was a jab or a cry for help. I think she wants to have a personal conversation with me because she does. Tisha wants to know how to deal with having a husband who has cheated or has been cheating and wonders, what should I do? Should I stay? If I should stay, how should I know? Or how should I go about it? She wants help, but then gets mad when she gets the help and act like people are coming for her marriage. Make it make sense, Tisha. You want help or you don't want help? Because I feel like you struggling to ask for help, but you struggle for the truth of you asking for it for yourself. You struggle with accepting that this could be your life, but you don't want it to be your life, which is why it's so annoying to me. It pisses me off so much that she looks down upon other women who deal with this because she doesn't want to be next. But then she asks because of out of curiosity, what if I'm the one that's dealing with it too? Oh, and let's not also forget though, Marsau, while you say t-shirt business, your wife purchased Melody's team wife shirt that Melody had before. And she wanted to embarrass her by wearing it when she wore that hot pink pants at the Valentine's event when she had an argument with Mel because she wanted to throw it in Mel's face that she's still in the Team Wife Club. Let's not forget, Marceau. Like, don't have me go back and bring up history, bring up notes. Don't have me do it, okay? Marceau said, I'll find it offensive if you was to ask me. Obviously, because you don't answer it. You go around and say, I can't answer that for you right now. So you could miss me with that. Oh my God, I can't. Moving on. Tiffany. It is time for Tiffany's reveal. And I think she had a family member bring baby Ace before because she walked in by herself. When she walked in, nothing was done. The only thing that was done was the waffles. Nothing was put up. The decorations were not set up. She said, why is everything behind? Because it was rain. So a party planner who's supposed to be ahead of weather conditions when planning an event is supposed to know what to do to avoid having the decorations be messed up if it comes to weather conditions. Like, how are you not aware of how the weather is when you're planning an event? Tiffany, if I was you, she's getting a deduction of her mandatory fee or her charging prices. She's getting deducted because she's not getting a full payment out of me. If I'm coming in the event space that I paid for and I also pay for you to do an event and you're not done, no ma'am. No, ma'am, no, ma'am. And then Tiffany ends up putting on some pink gloves to help set up little treats, help get the food plated. That should not be Tiffany's job. She paid you to do a job. Stormy came in, was surprised that the event wasn't complete as well. And she's also worried about Tiffany because Tiffany jumped in to have this event. She paid for someone to have it set up. And here she is doing everything, asking where the stuff go. And I don't want her to get questioned. I don't want her to get stressed out. Like, why should she have to worry about setting up her own event that she paid you to do? Which I ain't mad at. I'm really not, because Stormy was worried that Tiffany is going to break down at any moment, and she might, because she hasn't told Lou how she felt about dealing with all this by herself while Lou has been away coaching. Kimmy came in. She knows that things aren't set up either. She wanted to throw shade that Tiffany's okay with that the event isn't set up. She's not okay with it, Kimmy. She's really not. This is not what she wanted to happen, but she's going to smile through it. Melody came in, said hello to everybody. She even said hello to Stormy, but Stormy ignored her while going through her purse. Melody said, I said hi to Stormy nice and loud. We heard her say it. So why was Stormy ignoring her? Somebody help me out here. Why is Stormy mad at Melody now? Let's not, can we not? It better not be about how it was the first part of Stormy feeling away that Melly didn't tell her that I'm distancing myself from everybody, because that's what I like to do when the season is over, as if she did not know that about Melody. Why is Stormy mad now? Why? Stormy, please don't be childish. It's so reminiscent to how Destiny did when Melody did say hi to Destiny. We heard it, we saw it, and she still chose to ignore her. Make it make sense. Please don't. Please don't. Help me out here. Please don't. So Melody said she knows she heard me, but I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to make it a fuss. I'm going to leave it at that. So is everybody coming? She didn't invite everybody. Wonder if Teacher's coming. She didn't RSVP. But the last time that they all came together was at Fields when they were expressing the unprofessionalism at the Black Expo. Because why was Tiffany feeling away? Because I had questions about how things turned out. I was told it's supposed to be the original 6, but then it got the original 6 plus Stormy, and I was in the front row. Why wasn't I included? And even Stormy said, to be honest, though, I could have been sitting in the front row with her too. Why? Because it was a shit show. It was. Because Kimmy is still acting oblivious as to why Stormy and Tiffany are acting this way about the expo, because it wasn't good, Kimmy. It was unprofessional. You know it was. You find out that the vendors got in for free and you still paid $100 and wonder why did they start charging people out of nowhere when there were no food, no dinner, no drinks. Why are you charging people out of nowhere? Kimmy, don't do that. That's why I get annoyed with you. Melody is like, did I miss something? Yes, you missed a lot. You missed a lot about how this was set up. You missed how I got into it with Marsau about $100 when I didn't even know there was $100 fee. Yeah, he wanted us all to have a booth, but left out we had to pay for a booth. And like Kimmy, you come on now. I said it because you said when the lunch happened between y'all, you were automatically in defend mode to say that the way that you guys felt was not how it happened. The way that things got set up was not how it happened. You were so quick to defend Tisha that the way things got set up wasn't wrong. It wasn't sneaky, but it was. You went to Maurice, told him what happened. You discovered that y'all paid for the booth, but then found out vendors got in free. Half the vendors got in free. So I want Kimmy, don't leave out Kimmy, that you did find out you had to pay, but before you knew you had to pay, half the vendors got in free. Don't leave that part out. Keep it a buck. Let it be known. The way that Tisha and Marsau handled that expo was unprofessional. Don't do that. Don't leave how unprofessional they was to make it seem as if Stormy and Tiffany are just being mad for no reason. Don't do that. Don't flip, because then you're gonna take what you hear from them, tell Maurice, and don't send them to Tisha and Marsau. Don't do that. So then Nell comes in, she speaks to Mel. Mel gonna stop by her daycare the next time they see each other. Nell talks about how they had a double date with the Scotts and a lot of back and forth because they wanted to get things clear as to why they weren't included in the expo. And Tisha said they wanted to draw the line of forming a friendship or forming some type of relationship with them because that's how they met the scope. That's how they met the Holtz. They met the Holtz through the Fletchers. So they didn't want to infringe or they didn't want to come in on our friendship with y'all by becoming friends with us. So it's kind of like, why would you want to be cautious about being friends with her while she's friends with me? Because while she is friends with me, our friendship has nothing to do with you forming a friendship with her. Yeah, because she told Tisha, this isn't college, this isn't high school. I don't need nobody to tell me who I can I can't be friends with. And I don't need nobody telling me why you don't want to be friends with me is because of my friendship with someone else. That person you got an issue with ain't got nothing to do with me. So it's like bullshit, like Melody said. Because if that's the case, then our friendship has never had any issue with you going to their establishment, becoming regulars, and supporting their business. They never kicked you out of black because you're friends with me, right? No. So it sounds like bullshit. Anytime that they were supporting you in their business, you would have been friends with me from that point on. So why you want to be funny now? And I said it before. You guys are still friends with Martell. So you guys can be looking cautious about being friends with them because they're still friends with Mel. Make it make sense. So then they discuss of not wanting to pay people because Marceau felt like if I don't think that you're professional enough to speak, then I don't think you should be deserving to pay. And he particularly mentioned you because he felt like you weren't in business long enough to deserve to get paid. He thought that since Stormy and Maurice were in their business longer, they deserved to get paid. She said, if we're going to throw jabs, let's throw them because I could really have a good excuse about not participating in an expo because I don't want to be associated with people who claim to be about their business when they have a $5 million lawsuit for fraud. Period. And let's be clear, I've been running a business since 2008. Why are you worried about my coins? Why? You need to be grateful that I have put several checks in your pocket because I've had a dream and a vision that have come to fruition and you have lived off of said vision and dream. Don't play with me. Do not play. Last time I checked, they sell t-shirts with black on them. Your wife is drinking a mug that says my life, my blueprint on it. Yes, that she threw, that she stole from mail. Okay? Like, don't throw shade and jabs if you're doing the exact same thing, but don't get mad because I'm excelling and you're not. Okay? Because even Melody wasn't even feeling a way of not getting paid. But if you want to make it personal, we can make it personal because why are you talking about my business? Why? Hello, that's not necessary. And she thinks it's pathetic, it's whack, it's petty, it's lame that these men, these black men, will stoop so low to want to devalue, talk down upon women that are successful than they are It's just like you want to do everything you can to tear down a woman that is successful than you because you feel like women are supposed to be successful. You are supposed to be successful. That's all you feel. That's all you think. Men excel, women just stay there and look pretty, which is bullshit. Bullshit. So she said, I will tell them to their fucking face. And we're going to get that confirmation, that confrontation this episode, this weekend. And I feel like, Marsau, you knew what you were doing when you told Nell that. I feel like you wanted her to tell Melody that because you're looking for that confrontation with Mel because you look for any reason to be in Melody's presence. You really do. Because the way that you begged her to be part of the expo, even down to the last minute, the day of the expo, she came in for support. You asked her to speak. She said no. To the point where you wanted to let Melody know about what your brother has been saying and you wanted to be known, I'm not in that. It's between him and just him alone. You canceled date night to have that conference, to have that talk with Melody because you wanted to be near her. Now, in this moment, you are excited about wanting to be near Melody for this confrontation. You do. And I don't know why. You like the challenge. Melody strikes you as a woman you wish you had. I'm not saying anything else by what I'm seeing because Marsau looks for any reason he can to have Melody around him. He really do. Really, really do. That's all I see. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't make any sense. It's like, Tisha, please pay attention to your husband. Your husband does everything he can to talk about a certain person, and you're not catching why does he do it? Why? You just sitting there sipping your drink, not saying nothing. Okay, fine. But y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video, and I'm gonna see you guys later. Bye.